Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dream Fearless podcast. I am your host, Karen Oliver, and the owner of the Dream Fearless podcast. And I have a special guest with me. And we know that October is definitely our health month. We are celebrating health all month. We're having burner conversations about different illnesses and disorders we deal with. I have a professional entrepreneur, um, mom entrepreneur, boss entrepreneur with me, Keldamuzik Diva. She is here with us. And Keldamuzik, just introduce yourself and tell the audience, where you're from. What is it that you do?
Yes, yes, Keldamuzik, aka Diva from San Francisco Bay Area. I am a music artist, actress, talk show host, entrepreneur, and fashionista. And I'm just so happy to be here today, Karen. Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for accepting the request, because I was like, oh gosh, I was like, you were just so, I would say, kind of like very intentional, and the conversations that we had was like, wow, yeah, we ready to do this, let's go. And like,
Right.
you can tell when someone is definitely passionate about what they do, and I could tell you was very passionate about coming on the
Hmm.
podcast, talking about health, talking about the different things we all go through mentally and physically. So I'm just glad to have you here, because I know that you do a lot in your business. So I'm just happy to have you and also get to know you a little bit more better as well. So,
Yes, thank you.
are you still in the San Francisco Bay Area, or?
Yep, I'm still here. So I always tell everyone San Francisco Bay Area because that's how they know the Bay. But I'm originally from San Jose. It's about 45 minutes south from San Francisco. So I'm just like from the heart of Silicon Valley, where all the tech startups are.
Yes.
Obviously, growing up, it wasn't like that. It was totally different. But now just, being a little bit older and being in it, it's like, whoa, you just see all these tech startups blossoming and
Yes.
making all this money. And, hey, as a music artist, you try to get in where you fit in
Yeah.
with these startups and see how you can make that lucrative for your brand too.
So you're on the West Coast.
Yeah. Yep.
So that means it's a little bit after 3 year time, right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
awesome, awesome. We got the East Coast and West Coast here, y'all.
Hey,
All right. So tell us a little bit about, when did you start diving into the hip hop industry?
Yeah, definitely. I recorded my first album and released it in 2005. At the time, I was signed to an independent label called Squad Music Group that was located in Oakland. It was in North Oakland, actually. And I like to tell people Kelda Williams was born in San Jose in the suburbs, but Kelda Music was born in Oakland. And that's where my sound was developed and created. And that's where I got my inspiration from when it comes to hip hop music. And yeah, the first album was called Shut Up Listen. That was released in 2005. I had about 14 tracks on that album. And, it was just during the time where there were no female rappers out as far as mainstream wise. And
Mhm.
there was a whole bunch of independent female artists, such as myself, really just trying to bring back that movement. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
it was a struggle. It was hard. But hey, we're here today. We're doing so much now as a female hip hop artist, Black female entertainers. To
Yes.
we're podcasting now. So
Yes. Black female entrepreneur. So you've been in the entertainment business, so you know what it's like. You've been in
yeah,
it like over 10 years. So you know
oh
the
yeah,
hustle and bustle of it. And you're also a fashionista, you know,
yeah.
so you love fashion. And what was some other things that you said that you dibbled dabbled in?
Yep. So I started my own talk show called Diva Talk Tonight in 2014,
Hmm.
and now it's streaming on YouTube. I'm sorry, not YouTube, Tubi, Tubi.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, gotta check that out.
Right. Yeah. No, check it out. Yeah. It's called Diva Talk Tonight. It's an entertainment talk show. I'm interviewing a lot of local guests here in the Bay Area. And, it took a while for Tubi to pick it up, but it's finally on there. They published
Awesome.
about Yes, thank you. Thank you. They published about 12 episodes, and now I'm start filming more because that was motivation for me to keep going. And we're also on other platforms as well, but obviously, Tubi is Tubi,
It
baby.
is. It
You
is.
know what I mean?
That's the hot Tubi is the hot station out now. You know, a lot of black excellence and a lot of
Hmm.
black females and black males are doing their own films and doing their own movies now. So I definitely commend them, commend all of y'all in the entertainment business, and we got to make sure that we support each other as well. And
Yes, most definitely.
yes, and since you guys, since this is Health Month, as I shared earlier, we're going to be talking about anxiety. And Keldamuzik just gonna, tell us a little bit about, how she's went through that. And because I know you've done a lot of things, Keldamuzik, you've seen a lot or whatever. Um, when did you realize or experience the fact that you were going through anxiety?
Yeah, so anxiety has pretty much been happening my whole life. It's funny because my mom and I were talking about it, and she was like, how and why do you have anxiety? Like you haven't been through anything traumatic
Mm,
or traumatizing, which would cause severe anxiety. And what people need to know is you don't have to go through anything severe
right.
in order to just have anxiety. Sometimes we're just born with it. And
Exactly.
anxiety isn't necessarily always a negative thing. Anxiety just means we're anxious, we're excited, we're too excited to where
Mhm, mhm.
being too excited means you're overly thinking some things.
Yeah.
You're overly thinking the past, you're overly thinking the future. And whether it's positive or negative, it's what drives the anxiety to make you have sweaty palms,
Yeah.
your stomach acting up, sometimes your throat, headaches, because you're working
Mhm.
your body, you're overworking your body, thinking
Yeah.
too much. And for me, that's exactly what anxiety is. Just overly thinking and thinking too
Yeah.
hard
Mhm.
about something particular and not moving forward, but dwelling on the past or
Yeah.
dwelling something presently. And so that's been happening all my life. And there's just times where to calm my anxiety, I would just go to sleep.
Mhm.
I would sleep during the day and call myself taking a 20-minute nap that ends up being a 2.5 hour nap. And next thing
Yeah.
you know, I'm waking up, it's already nighttime, and I'm like, oh crap. This is like I need to be going to bed soon, but I just woke up from a nap. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Wow.
Um, and so anxiety is difficult to deal with. And if you're in a position such as myself or even you know what I
Mhm.
mean? We're busybodies and we have so much going on that
Yeah.
sometimes when it's hard to keep up with things, the anxiety it just gets more serious.
Mm. Yeah, it's a good thing that you said that because I think some of us think that, because we're doing so many things and some of us may get overwhelmed with doing so many things. Some people think that's when anxiety comes along. But like you said, it comes on even before that, before you even get into business, before you even have
Hmm.
a child, before you become a mother. Sometimes things could come into play even when you were younger, like you
Yeah,
said, coming up, and you're always thinking about that in the past, like sleeping too long.
yeah.
I've heard some people say, hey, that's a part of stress too, which is true.
Hmm.
I think,
Hmm.
stress and anxiety ties in together, but they're still a little bit different. And sometimes some of us we can have both, which is not a
Hmm.
good thing because it's like wearing our body out, wearing our body down. And
Hmm.
like we just gotta ask ourselves, like, what is this? So what was the thing that you asked yourself or you thought about and you said, okay, what are the signs that I'm going through this and why am I going through this?
Yeah, definitely. It would be just something so simple like, okay, I'm coming home from school and okay, I'm worried about what grade I'm going to get or how I'm going to
Mm,
approach this test, this quiz,
yeah.
or what is my progress report going to look like? What is my report card going to look like? Um, what if I walk out of the door right now and get hit by a car? You know what I mean?
Mm, yeah.
Just
Yeah. Yeah.
you worry about just the littlest things that don't really matter at the moment, but you worry about it and it becomes bigger than what it is, you know. Um, and that's how some people have nervous breakdowns or
Yeah.
panic attacks because
Mm-hmm.
they don't know how to control those thoughts. And that's also what anxiety is. It's racing thoughts. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? That
Mm-hmm.
just won't go away. And then it triggers into physical symptoms.
Yeah.
And that's when it becomes a problem. That's when it's time to, talk to a therapist, maybe a
Yeah.
psychiatrist, look at medication.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying medications for everyone, but certain people, they could definitely use it and see what it does for them. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just a matter of fact of how your body reacts to the anxiety.
And I'm glad that you said that because you took the very word that I was thinking right out of my mouth, worrying.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a big worry about what if this happens? What if
Mm-hmm.
I do this? What if I don't get this? And like you said, people go into panic attacks. Like you said, they don't know how to control their emotions or what are they feeling because they just can't stop worrying. Or, you could even be
Mm-hmm.
doubting yourself a lot of
Oh
things,
yeah.
self-sabotaging yourself. And like you said, when you said medicine, I know, a lot of people, a lot of us, we practice, staying away from medications, and that's a good thing. I'm all for that. But if
Mm-hmm.
you need it, you need to make sure that, hey, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. So I won't be on this
Mm-hmm.
medication forever. But like you said, sometimes we have to start off on it just for that time being until we can learn how to control it ourselves. Because we got to learn how to control, like you said, our emotions, our
Mm-hmm.
thoughts, why I'm worrying about what's in the past. And I know a lot
Mm-hmm.
of us, well, all of us have, thought about something in the past and then we're dwelling on it. And then sometimes it just gets too much and we dwell on it for a long, long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
We talk ourselves out of things. I don't know
Yeah.
the music, if you talk yourself out of things and you'll be like, hey,
Yes.
I don't think I'm good enough to do this. I'm going to step back. I'm going
Yes.
to let somebody else do it. So have you ever done that before?
Oh my gosh, so many times. There's times where I sign myself up to do something that I know I'm capable of doing it because I've done it several times, but then I'll talk myself out of it at the last minute. And it's so funny that you mentioned that. You hit it on the head
Yeah.
because what I'll do is I'll find all the flaws or the
Mm-hmm.
downsides
Mm-hmm.
or the cons about this particular thing, and
Yeah.
then I'll talk myself out of it and say, oh, you know what? This isn't for me anyway. Let me go ahead and pass this on to somebody who might benefit from it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And 50% of the time I'm right. Other 50%, you still could have done it, Kelda. You know what I mean?
Right, right. And
And
that's what
so,
and that's what you're thinking to yourself, like, well, I
mm-hmm.
know I probably could have done it, but it's just so easier if I don't have to deal with it and somebody else do it when we know
Right.
that we really can do it ourselves. And so what
Exactly.
what are some of the exercises that you practice, or what are some of the things that you start getting into to help you with your emotions and your thoughts dealing with anxiety?
Oh yeah, definitely. For one, I get on the treadmill and I'll just run for like 7 minutes straight because I feel like I'm running it out of my system. When you break a sweat and you just kind of block everything else out, right? And you just concentrate on running. There's breathing exercises that I do. Sometimes I'll just sit quietly in the room and no TV, no phone or anything like that, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
just stare out the window and look at the sky and just take like inhale
Yeah.
the air and just kind of I don't know, refresh myself, rejuvenate my entire body, my senses, everything. um, there's all kinds of ways to naturally
Yeah.
cope with your anxiety, but again, it just really depends on what your reaction is to it. Some people don't have physical symptoms. They're just mentally thinking too much. And
Yeah.
then some of us actually have those physical symptoms where we have to do something about it. And we don't want to rely on medication. We don't want to rely on, the healthcare to help us. We want to help ourselves.
Exactly.
Um, so it's just really about finding your peace and what calms you down within that peace.
Yeah, I love that. Because it's like that's the number one solution is, okay, I need to find peace. and
Mm-hmm.
how can I find that peace? And like you said, there are definitely natural ways to do that because a lot of things are just what is it, mind over matter? It's just
Mm-hmm.
the mind thing. And like you said, either they're going through mentally, or it could be a physically thing, or it could be both. So the fact that, exercise is always good when you're by yourself and you're meditating,
Mm-hmm.
going outside for a walk,
Oh
not,
yeah.
not a small walk, but say, hey, you out there, go somewhere to the lake for about, an hour
Yeah.
just to get your thoughts together. Because sometimes I feel like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Keldamuzik, sometimes we can clutter ourselves too much,
Mm-hmm.
especially I would say around people, around things, and
Oh
you
yeah.
hit it on the nail when you say, "Hey, I'm putting away the phone. I'm not watching TV. I'm not doing anything. I'm going to work on controlling my thoughts, controlling my emotions, my
Mm-hmm.
body, everything that causes this." To come about. So I'm really glad that you even said that when you said about exercising and putting away the electronics.
Yes, yes, the electronics will do it. And sometimes we'll get carried away. Like I call myself taking a nap or whatever, or relaxing in bed, but then I get caught up watching IG videos and TikTok videos
Yeah.
and I'm like, damn it, 30 minutes has already passed. I should have been knocked out by now. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
but hey, it's just a matter of knowing how to calm down your mind and knowing what overall calms down your body. And I like for me, there's times where I just drink nothing but water. I don't drink
Yeah.
juice. I
Yeah.
don't drink tea, coffee, nothing that's gonna give my body a change.
Yeah.
I just drink water, and whatever change that does, I know it's a natural change,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's not for the worse. But sometimes, yeah, you gotta watch your health, what you eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Take a break on anything that has sugar in it. Take a
Hmm.
break on carbs.
Yeah.
You gotta just find ways to cut certain things out of your lifestyle and see how your body and your mind changes for the better.
And I'm glad that we are tying into food now because
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of things that attack the body when it pertains to sugar.
Mm-hmm.
When we're eating a lot of sugar, and some of those things we just need to,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, take a break from or cut back from because even
Mm-hmm.
I had to do that, not just because of a disorder that I have or whatever, but it's like, hey, I need to cut back mentally because whether we know it or not, that really does something. It definitely does something to the body
Yeah.
because our body don't connect with having a lot of sugar, especially with Black African Americans.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And mentally, it can do something, especially if you're already going through things in your body. Like you said, it's about knowing your body. Wait a minute, something is not right. But when I take this away, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and now that we are talking about food, like I
Mm-hmm.
deal with inflammation so in the bone.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm not eating enough vegetables and like you said, drinking enough water,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been off of it or I've been off my routine, I'm gonna start experiencing inflammation. And I'm like, wait
Yeah.
a minute, I was doing really good. And
Mm-hmm.
although I was off my medicine for some time, which
Mm-hmm.
was, not a good thing because it was as needed before, but now
Mm.
it's not as needed. Guess why? Because I had it out of my system a little bit too long. Not only that, I had stopped
Mm-hmm.
eating the natural things that reduces inflammation. So when I start picking back up those things, it's like, okay, wait a minute, I feel good, my mind's better, uh,
Mm-hmm.
my body is the inflammation is staying down. So okay, I'm okay, I'm good. But once we start eating those things regularly and back and forth, it's like I gotta have it. I gotta have
Yeah.
it. I gotta go get that sugar.
Right, right. And then you think you're giving yourself a cheat day, but then you're consuming it again the next
Yeah,
day, the next day,
yeah,
the next day. Then it's like, damn, how did I get myself back to the starting point? You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, ugh.
yeah.
But it does take discipline, and it doesn't happen overnight. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
When they say even for Black people, it's not good for us to eat pork,
Mm-hmm.
right? Some of us it's hard. Like for me, I love bacon.
Yeah,
I can't see myself not eating bacon. You know what I mean? But there's other pork that I will cut out of my diet, and
yeah,
that doesn't mean that it's necessarily doing great for my body because I still am eating pork. It's just in another form,
Right.
but it's a work in progress. You know what I mean? And that's all we can ever do for ourselves is at
Yeah.
least work on it. And I know it may sound so cliche to some people when we say that, but you have to take it for what it's worth. It's true. If I say I'm working on my diet, I'm
Yeah.
working on my health, I'm working on my mental health, you gotta take that for what it is and
That
know that
right.
I'm trying to do something. Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with that. And like you said, that ties in a lot to some of the things that we go through. And like you
Mm-hmm.
said, drinking more water is
Mm-hmm.
more prominent. I've heard some people say, hey, they say we can drink too much water. Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's true too, or whatever. But a lot of us is not drinking enough because I
Mm-hmm.
have to get on myself and say, hey, Karen, you need to consume more water. You need to consume, because really water kills a lot of, bacteria. It flushes a lot of bacteria,
Yeah.
a lot of waste and everything. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just about, hey, I got to be disciplined. We have to be disciplined, especially if we know that these things are being triggered by what we're going through. And so, Keldamuzik, it looks like you definitely know what to do as far as tackling anxiety and everything. And even with that, do you help other people with that, or have you ever talked to anybody about their condition and things that that any tips or advice that you gave them on what to do?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Actually, I was on a panel for two fashion events, and at the beginning of the event, they usually have a panel of Black women, and we talk about the challenges and the struggles that we face in life. And a couple of we're talking about mental illness,
Yeah.
depression, anxiety, and there were a couple of people in the crowd who raised their hand and said, "Hey, I could relate to what you're saying. That resonates with me. I'm going through the same thing."
Yeah.
And the advice that we give them is the same advice that I'm saying now. You have to find your own way to cope with it, whether we're talking about, yes, health meds or even supplements. There's plenty of supplements out there that can calm anxiety, stress, depression. And then obviously, if you just want to take it upon your own hands and naturally get rid of it by exercising and drinking more water,
Yeah.
um, people really appreciate others who come out about issues like this because a lot of us keep it bottled inside and we don't know how to express ourselves, or we're afraid to talk to others about it because we don't want to be judged. But really, it needs to be discussed more often, especially between Black women, because
Yeah.
I think we have it harder than a lot of other people in life. We're not only are we women, but we're Black women. You know
Right.
what I mean? And we're living in a country right now where things are just up and down for us. And
Yeah.
when it's up, it's up. But when it's down,
It's same.
yeah, exactly. You got to pick me up off the ground. You know what I mean?
That's
Like
right.
that.
And that's where we gotta say, hey, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta do some serious work here, because
Mm-hmm.
it's not always gonna be peaches and creams, and we're not gonna always
Right.
be feeling good every day. So that means we gotta take accountability of what we need to do to take care of our mind and body.
That's right.
So
That's right. And
yeah.
and I think like also too, I think it's great that a lot more celebrities are talking about mental health as well and
Mhm.
discussing addictions that they've had or
Yeah.
just personal issues that they've had, because again, it resonates with their fan base and probably even opens doors to a new fan base, because now you have a different respect for that person,
Yeah.
because they're being vulnerable and opening up about their personal life. So yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that too, and I commend, everybody for being vulnerable. Like you said, even basketball
Mhm.
players and football players,
Yeah.
um,
Hmm.
coming out, sharing, hey, I take a day off, or I take a day off to go see my therapist, or sometimes I may have to take a week off. I've heard
Hmm.
basketball players share their stories how they had to just isolate themselves and step back from the game
Hmm.
to clear their mind. So
That's right.
yeah, I
That's
love
right.
that. I love that. So Keldamuzik, let everybody know how they can get in touch with you, how they can follow you, and even if you want to give an inspiration tip to someone out there that's dealing with anxiety.
Yes. So you guys can find everything about me on keldamuzik.com, KELDAMUZIK.com. One word, lowercase m. You'll find all my latest music, videos, TV projects, film projects. You could also purchase a Tams beret. You know what I'm saying?
I
Support your
love it.
girl. Thank you, thank you. There's 10 different colors, and since it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we
Yes.
do have light pink ones. So, and we're giving discounts on those. So make sure you guys get one. And my tip for those that are going through anxiety, no matter who you are, just hang in there and continue to do research and talk to others about your issues. Don't be afraid and don't hold it inside of you. The more you release, the more you'll feel relieved. So,
Yes.
yes.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much, Keldamuzik. And I really, really, really enjoyed this conversation. And I hope you all also enjoyed as well. Thank you so much for taking out of your time to come back, to come on. So look, I'm
Yes.
inviting you back already. Look, yeah, but we would love to have you back. But thanks for taking time out your busy schedule to come on and talk to us about anxiety and what you do and ways to prevent it. So thank you so much for coming on the Dream Fearless podcast.
Thank you so much, Karen.
All right.
Mwah.